Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Tawnya Love Show. I hope everyone is having a fabulous December so far. Let's all send love to Amnon because he's got a little tickle in his throat today, and I think a lot of us are feeling some ascension symptoms these days. So maybe just sending love to everybody as we're shifting and taking in higher light frequencies. And on that note, actually, that is what I feel guided to talk about today is we're going to talk a little bit about belief systems and how they affect us and how we are in a space of dropping old paradigms and old belief systems that aren't really working for us anymore. And the big question is, what does the new earth look like? What does it feel like for each of you? And that we all are a very important aspect of co-creating that experience. And I'm going to start by saying I've had some very interesting things over the past couple weeks, and I don't recall if I said this last week or not, but I had a few experiences. I believe I did mention it where I had some past life memories of being in connected with different star systems, and one of them was the Sirian star system, and the other was Andromeda. And what's interesting is just how everything always works with like when you're connected on something and then you're opening up to understanding it more, you have synchronicities and things come in to bring confirmation. And last night I had this really concerning dream, which I've had these dreams before. And typically, when I have dreams about planetary destruction and natural storms and things like that, I go into meditation and I just talk to the earth. I connect with the elements, the water, the wind, and call in the angels. And I just thank Spirit for bringing everything into the highest alignment possible, calling forth the protection and that everyone will go through these shifts with as little damage as possible and that there will be, I know the planet is doing a lot of cleansing herself, and sometimes that takes lives and things change with weather and things like that. But what I've learned to do is not to go into fear, but to really go into my alignment with source and to focus on what I want and what I would like to happen. And so in my dream last night, I saw a lot of destruction on the coastlines and huge waves, like huge, like tall as buildings. And it was very concerning. And I woke up sweaty and just sat straight up and was like going into healing on the whole thing. And in the past, when this has happened, there was a situation once where the same exact kind of dream happened, and it was Hawaii. And I feel like it was Hawaii again. And in the past, I had sat up and did some healing and just talked to the water and asked the water to please spread its energy and not to hit the coast as hard as it was going to, because there was lives that would be taken. And I talked to the earth and thanked her for releasing as gently as possible. And a couple days later, there was an earthquake, and there were scientists on the internet talking about how that earthquake should have created such a shake that it should have created these huge waves that should have wiped out Hawaii. And they didn't wipe out Hawaii. They actually spread long, and they did hit the islands, but they weren't as destructive. And last night I had a very similar dream. And so I don't know if any of you are picking up on stuff with the planet right now, but there is a lot of interplanetary churning going on. And the sensitive ones that are listening, you might be experiencing this as issues in your body. A lot of digestive stuff is how I feel it. I seriously, I can tell when there's a lot going on in the core of the earth because my stomach just feels like a washing machine. It's just like sloshing around, and it doesn't typically feel like that. And so this morning that was going on. And so if any of you are picking up on that and you're concerned or you're wondering what's going on, first of all, don't go into fear. Don't start creating story about fear and limitation that puts you in an old belief system that creates problem. But do tune in and go inward in your meditation and connect with your guides and connect with the planet and listen. As I went in, I just was thanking for the guidance and thanking for the solution, but I also was asking questions and listening to my guides. And what I got is that there is a lot of changes coming. The planet is going through a lot of shifts. And so I should not be worried. I should not be in fear, that I'm safe and I'm protected, but that, holding that frequency of love and light is going to be so important. And that more of us choosing this, it's not just let's have Tawnya love holding the frequency and like everyone else can get off the hook. They don't need to do any of their work. It's me mirroring this to each of you to realize that we're all connected to this. And if we each go into our meditations, our inner alignment with source, holding that vibration of a new earth, of what that feels like to us, and we each hold the frequencies of love and light, instead of going to the old conditioning response of fear, we are collectively going to successfully shift this planet into a higher vibrational frequency and reality. And that is what we're here doing. That is what we've come here to do. And we did not come here to do a poor job of it or fail at it. We came here to successfully achieve this shift. And so, if you can tap into your confidence and your inner knowing of your divinity and your power, instead of go into that fearful place of thinking you're weak and small and insignificant, then enough of us choosing the alignment will co-create an amazing shift in reality. So I'm calling on all of you to do your part, because this is going to be all of us that are going to be required to shift. And it's interesting because I have a few things I want to read to you connected with the Syrian thing, because I had that coming in my guidance in meditation in past life regression. Like I was having past life memory. And then I today drew Isis card, which I'm going to read one of them to you. I drew two of them, and they're both very connected. One is the Temple of Lapis Lazuli, and it's the goddess of the ancient skies. And it's very much directly connected with the Syrian, the star people of Sirius and us other celestial beings. And then the other card that I drew is the Lady of the Stars, which is the priestess of Sirius. So kind of interesting that I drew those two today. But here's what the lapis card looks like. And I have a crystal here, a lapis lazuli heart that I'll hold up. And it's very like deep indigo blue, and it's got like little flecks of gold pyrite in it. And it's a very beautiful crystal, very high vibrational crystal, great for third eye. And I'm going to just read a little bit from this card. And what it says is, your soul is very ancient, beloved, and does not only herald from the earth, it holds much special wisdom of star peoples from civilizations far and near, with unique high vibrational awareness that can help humanity transition from a civilization based in fear to a love-based culture. You are guided to come into deeper acceptance of your own inner knowing now. So, as I'm mirroring to each of you and speaking to you of being more galactically connected, and how my guides have been telling me, oh, this was a lifetime where you were connected to the Andromedan star system, and this is one where you were in the Sirian star system. And they're telling me this, and I'm remembering all these memories. To some people that maybe aren't as open, they might be like, Tanya's nuts. Like, what is she talking about? She's talking about being an alien, an angel. What is going on? But really, I'm remembering and owning more of my divinity, of the vastness of what my soul has been and where it has come from, and being a highly evolved being that has understood my connection with source my whole existence here, and is here to be a guide and a way shower for humanity, to help us shift out of the so-called reality that we're used to, which is fear and manipulation, greed, suffering, separation, chaos. Like, this is kind of what we've been conditioned to believe is the earth experience. But we're here to shift that into a higher frequency of love and harmony, bliss, abundance, wholeness. This is where those who are highly evolved beings, we come from this. We know this feeling, we know this vibration. And so, for some of you listening, if you've struggled being here on the planet Earth for many years and it's been a struggle and it feels heavy and hard to be here, I honor you and I bow to you with love, light, and compassion, because I know exactly the feeling of that. But it's partly because we're not used to this dense, heavy vibration. And what's key for each of you listening is, and for the clients I work with, what I help them with is to remember that you didn't come here to be like the ones that are here. You didn't come here to conform, to blend, to belong. You came here to actually be way showers of a new vibration. So if we get distracted and we need to be popular, accepted, and have everyone just like us. We're too afraid to speak truth. We, have been told when we were children we were weird or whatever it is. We're going to actually stunt our own growth and expansion, and we will hold back our gifts from humanity. So that doesn't ever feel very good. So if any of you feel like you've been conditioned to be quiet, to hold your gifts secretly inside, to, hold back your truth, to sit at your family gatherings and just feel like the awkward one, I encourage you to stop doing that, stop choosing that, and start choosing to own your divinity and own your power and really embody your light and your truth. And you know that truth, it's in you, you can't deny it. And to really start to express that, but only when it feels like you're around beings who are actually open and receptive. Like, speak your truth anytime, but you don't need to ever be in a place where you're being in a space where you're in a space of being defensive or, you need to prove yourself. But do know that you need to actually embody your light and divinity and be you, because if we're denying that, we're going to feel uncomfortable. So for a lot of us that are just now going through a lot of shifts and we're clearing a lot of past life stuff, we're remembering a lot of past lives, experiences and our gifts, our magic, our talents. We want to just be open and receptive to that coming in and channel that in, and not be, in our thinking, don't be limited thinking that you can't be these other things and you can only be one thing. Like, if you're limited thinking all I am is a human, then you really shut off the valve of consciousness of the vastness of what you really are. And so I'm going to mirror that to you, to own that instead of be ashamed of it, and to realize you came here to help shift this consciousness, this collective consciousness, into a higher vibration. We didn't come here to participate in the misaligned systems. We're here to create new ones that actually work and that are from harmony and balance, because we've done this before. This is not new for us. Okay. And on that note, as I keep reading, if any of you want to write in with questions or comments, please do. If some of you know that, actually, Tawnya, I know I'm from another star system and my guides have been saying that to me, or I've had dreams about that, or hey, I have a question. How do you know, who you're communicating with? Whatever. Just bring it in. I encourage it. And if you want to call in, 919-518-9773. So, reading on, it says ancient souls with experience of consciousness and community from more spiritually advanced civilizations are here on this planet to be themselves to the fullest extent possible in order to help support each other and heal human culture so that this planet may thrive. Boom, right there. The challenge can be that such ancient souls often feel out of place here on Earth for a time as they go through an adjustment process and remember their healing mission on this planet. These souls hold much inner wisdom of star peoples and civilizations far and wide in this galaxy and beyond it. This inner wisdom vibrates at a higher level than the frequencies of fear, aggression, dominance, and disconnection that are a part of the global human wounding that they are here to help. I need water today. This is why ancient souls are needed, of course, to help offer a different reality which is more whole and connected to oneness and love. But the challenge is not to lose belief and honoring of your own true inner wisdom and deep soul truth while becoming a member of the culture that is still so different from yours. So in essence, you've come here and you've embodied a human form, but don't let go of who you are in your consciousness to, be caught up playing the human part where you forget your divinity and then you start playing small. This oracle comes to you to provide much needed spiritual recognition that you have wisdom and understanding within you that is very ancient and flows from the soul, and that you also have a sacred connection to wisdom that comes from the star people of Sirius and other celestial beings that serve through unconditional love. Arcturians, Pleiadians, we've got the Andromedan. This is neither strange nor weird, but it is precious, and although you are not the only one of your kind here, it is far from a common soul type on this planet. Mostly because it takes a lot of strength and dedication to be able to sustain existence purposefully in a high vibration that is lower than your own, in a vibration that is lower than your own natural vibration. So some of us, when we came here, we were in a high vibrational state and we had to drop in frequency to be on this earthly plane and play out the roles that we're here playing out. And so that takes a lot of strength to even come into that energy and to drop in vibration. This oracle comes to you with an offering of guidance to remember who you are within. Do not try to fit in with external models of how to be in this world, for you are here to help birth a new way that is more aligned with spiritual truth. And I can mirror this to all of you. Some examples in my own life is like as I grew growing up, I knew I had this natural ability to counsel and mediate and help others. I was doing it since I was a child. I didn't really have to go and take classes on being a counselor because it was just like who I was. The healer in me was very naturally there, the empath, the nurturer, the teacher, and the leader. It was just natural parts of myself. But as I was growing up in this earthly reality on this planet Earth, and I was looking at the opportunities for like a career with the gifts that I had, I saw, I could go be a counselor and I could go to school and become a therapist, or I could go become an educator, a public school teacher. And part of what I just read about trusting in your own way so that you can remember that you're here to help birth a new way is really key for souls like mine, because if you're feeling a struggle in this modern day setting where the college system doesn't make sense to you, or the healthcare system, or going to be a counselor and to go into a realm where you're giving up all your freedoms and you have to take all these rules that limit you, or becoming a public educator in the same way where it limits you and you can't tap into your creativity, you can't listen and honor intuition. There's a reason those systems feel off, because they are off. And there's a reason that you won't fit in with them, because you're not meant to. And so part of what's going to be really important for each of you that are this type of soul is to remember that you came here to lead a new way. And this takes courage and confidence in yourself so that you can have the courage and wisdom to move in a direction that no one's shown you how. Like, there may not be a path that's been, there's not been a trail blazed for you yet. You're out there in the jungle with your machete clearing the way. But don't be afraid to do that, because that is why you've come. You didn't come here to do the old ways that aren't working. And you know them, when they're not working, because each of us that are highly sensitive beings and highly aware, empathic beings, we can feel offness instantly. And so if you just keep walking in the path of offness, expecting it to be, get better, it's not going to. So we want to honor that. If there's a path that's, set in front of us and it doesn't feel right, dare to walk in a new direction, and dare to walk alone in the beginning. A lot of us that are pioneers of this new shift in consciousness, we've come here to be the way showers, and that means we're showing the way. That means don't always be expecting there to be someone in front of you guiding you. If there is, great, have a lot of gratitude and honor and be thankful for that. But if there's not, don't procrastinate and get lazy and become aloof and then just go and try to conform to a societal conditioning that doesn't feel right to you. So I hope that makes sense. Any questions coming in, Amnon, so far?
No.
Okay. Bring your questions, people. Bring your questions. Bring your comments. But let's see, where did I leave off on? You are guided to trust in your wisdom, to sit and contemplate any issue that you're questioning at this time, and trust in the voice of your heart. Higher heart. This is what it's all about. As we tune into higher heart, we're going to be in our, like what I was talking about recently in shows of unified field. We'll be in that state of unified field of unity consciousness, which is where we need to start tuning in inward to find solution, answers, direction, guidance, all of it, healing. It's all inside. It's all inner focus. We can raise that frequency in ourselves and heal our bodies, or we can just look outside of ourselves and get distracted and be fearful. Or we could do the old paradigm thing and like, I'm just going to go around a bunch of misaligned humans that are very fearful and just experiment on people, and I'm going to ask them their opinion. And this is like going to the modern day healthcare system. What do you think's wrong with me? Oh, you think I should try that drug? That sounds cool. Let me try that. Oh, wow, I feel really weird. Oh, I should take another drug? Okay, let me do that. And this is insanity to a soul like mine. I'm just like, what is happening? But this is the common everyday experience for many of you in humanity that are participating in this old paradigm of let me ask for my guidance outside of myself. And so I'm encouraging you to really hear this message, that this is a call to go inward, today when I had that dream and I was meditating, that is what my guides told me, is to help them understand not to be afraid. There's never a reason to go to fear. There's never a reason to worry. We have plenty of opportunities and plenty of excuses to worry and, conditioning to worry. But in essence, it never serves us. When we remember our simple laws of attraction, rules and guidelines, it is that what we focus on, we give energy to, and we draw towards us. So if we're worrying about something, we're really aiming our wand in the wrong direction. And so it's not about judging that. It's just about having awareness about that and going, wow, look at us as humanity. Each individual needs to own its own thoughts, and the collective thoughts pulled together create a collective experience. So if there's doom and gloom happening out there, it is because in here, most of you are in fear of doom and gloom. But if we start to collectively, individually, start to think of abundance and prosperity and harmony and wholeness and unity, and enough of us continue to hold that frequency together, then we collectively create the new earth of abundance and beauty and harmony and bliss. And so ultimately, that's what I am here to be a messenger of. And what my guides were telling me to share with you all today is to take your power back and to quiet your mind chatter. Even if you've been conditioned and used to this for an entire lifetime, to seek your answers externally, to seek your approval externally, basically, that is not what we're being guided to do in any way. And it's very much boldly being called for that we will seek and tune inward for our alignment. We will tune into higher hearts knowing to move forward and create and take our steps towards conscious creation. And to know that our thinking is the very beginning foundation of all creation. So if our thinking is not in alignment, then our experiences that we create externally will not be of alignment. And so it sounds like it's all complex, but it's so simple. It's just really being mindful of where you point your wand. Think of yourself as a magical fairy, and you're like, I'm going to focus over here on all the problems. Oh, wait a minute. That's not what I want to do, because that's going to magically create more problems. So even though there's a lot of problems in my world, let me focus my wand over here in the world and direction and land of abundance and beauty and solution, and hold my wand there long enough to where I start to see evidence of that vibrational frequency showing up in my physical manifestation, my physical reality. And then I will be like, wow, that's really working. And I'm not giving any energy anymore over here to the land of problems. And this is how come souls that are having a lot of bliss in their life are having that, because they're focusing on the bliss, they're expecting it, they know that they are the co-creators of it. And so I mean, I am so excited for each of you to get this, because as every soul really clicks this in and we click together, we're going to realize, whoa, we need to hold our focus on love, on light, on abundance, on goodness. Because as we do this individually, it feels really good for me. And as I do this, and then I ignite this intention with those around me, and they do it with me, wow, as a community and as a family, as a tribe, I'm talking too fast. We collectively create this beauty together, and this is going to be the same recipe for a planetary shift. So anybody that's sitting back worrying about doom and gloom and complaining about the government or complaining about anything, you need to just look at what's really out of alignment. It's yourself. You can complain that everybody else is doing stuff wrong, and look at all, they're all pointing their wands in the wrong direction, and but if you're focusing on that, then you're joining them there. So turn off the news. If watching the news stresses you out, it makes you worry, turn the damn TV off. If believing in abundance and goodness and health and wholeness is something hard for you to do because you're surrounding yourself with people who worry and gossip and are in fear, stop going around them. Like, each of you are the ones creating your choices and creating who you spend sacred time with, who you allow into your sacred space. You're each choosing to go to the doctor's office with people who want to experiment on you, or to go to a healer's session, to schedule a healing session with a healer who will actually help empower you. Every single one of you are making your choices. And if the choices you're making are creating suffering and misery, don't just keep making them because you're used to that. have the courage and wisdom to change. Like, remember the whole recipe for insanity is to keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result? Insanity. So, the reason I jokingly and lovingly talk about the insanity of humanity is because I watch this happen. I observe this happening. And what's going to be powerful is when, we can observe what's going on, but then we come back in and we choose our frequency. No one chooses your frequency for you. And it would be really empowering if each of us own that and we choose our frequency instead of reactively letting others, behaviors cause us to believe that they choose our frequency, because that's never really true. We're always choosing. So I'll pause for a second. Anybody chiming in?
Oh, no. Sorry.
Okay. I'm like, Amnon, are you taking a nap?
No, no.
Okay. Okay, so let me change over to this page. So one of the things that it says on the page that I'm reading about the lapis lazuli is to say within or aloud. So if any of you watching want to join, you could close your eyes and just set this intention with your guides. And it is, I receive any transmission and healing at this time in unconditional love now for my greatest and highest good. So be it. It says, imagine that you can rest back into your healing seat and gaze to the sky above you that opens as if it were a cosmic observatory. Kind of like I talk about the moonroof of your mind, like open and expand your mind. You notice certain golden orbs of planets and stars that feel familiar to you in your being. Allow yourself to receive love and light from these planets. So even if you're not aware of all these star systems, if you're even just open and you set the intention to be receptive to receiving these frequencies of love and light that are being transmitted to our planet at this time from a variety of different star systems and light beings, just opening yourself to receive is going to be enough. You don't need to understand it all intellectually. Just open yourself to be receptive to the frequencies of love and light. The other thing it says you can say is, I now choose to receive through unconditional love the memories, the gifts, talents, awareness, and recollection of my stellar wisdom, recollection of my stellar wisdom that will assist me now on my path through my own free will and through the grace of divine love. So be it. So it's basically inviting us to open up to receive transmissions from these star beings. And the last part, there's an invocation. It says, I call upon the temple of lapis lazuli. I call upon the beings of love unconditionally. I call forth the awakening of my own inner eye. I call forth my wisdoms from my people of the sky. I call on the protection, peace, and wisdom within me. I now declare that I am here and I am free. And this is part of taking back our power, is realizing that we are free sovereign beings of love and light, and that we emit our own frequency. We choose this always. And if your choices are not benefiting you, it's time to start questioning that. It's time to start exploring an inner exploration of your own thought processes, your own thinking, your own belief systems. I did a show a while back called The Power of Belief Systems. And the power of our belief systems is amazing, because I could understand something and be very open and receptive to miracles, and I could experience these things. But if another being right near me believes there's nothing and there's no help, there's no support, believes that they deserve to be punished, then they're going to experience those things. And so we're not, remember I talked about holographic realities, we're not all experiencing the same holographic reality. We're all here kind of like flowing around each other vibrationally and observing each other and learning from each other. But some of us are emitting very low vibrational frequencies. We have very low expectations. We think terribly of ourselves. We hate ourselves. We're constantly in a sense of self-rejection and self-loathing, whether we're saying it out loud or we're just thinking it silently. And vibrationally, that is going to create a very different experience from a being who has done their inner work, and they buzz around in a vibrational frequency of self-love, and they love and accept themselves. They expect miracles. They welcome the miracles. They know they can co-create miracles and that they're one with source. These beings will be like night and day. They will not resonate with each other, but we're all here playing this out together to wake up I feel in my soul, in my heart and soul's truth, that we are all here to wake up and realign with our oneness and return to our divinity, which is always there. It's always present. It's always available. Each of you has a higher self always there, present and available to you. But many of you have not been tuning in to higher self. You have been tuning outward to others who are telling you what to do, what to be. You're giving the control over your ship, your light body vehicle, aka your body. You're giving that to other people, doctors, teachers, parents, friends, neighbors, healers. You're giving it to others. So, in essence, you want to really come back to self, and you can access these beings' help and assistance when it feels right, when it feels aligned, access that. But there's a difference between accessing an assistant, some assistance from a being that can help you, and being codependently attached to someone out of fear. And this can happen from your relationships to your doctor, to your lawyer, to your friend, to your mother. It doesn't matter what the role and title, it's about the intention. Am I codependently seeking my good and my well being and my love externally? Because if you are, you're setting yourself up for failure. If you're a celebrity and you're seeking millions of people to love you because you deep down loathe yourself and don't think you're enough, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you have a million fans and followers, or if you're just that person that's like really shy at school that, is in the hallway eating your lunch by yourself because you're kind of shy and you don't really believe you deserve friends. It's the same inner self-loathing that keeps you in a state of isolation, and it can manifest in many ways. But we can clear that through our belief systems. We can clear these old belief systems that tell us that we're not enough. We can clear these old belief systems of lack and limitation. Um, like if we believe that if we're not good people, we're going to go to hell, for example. At a level, we will create a sense of hell. We'll think we did something wrong. Now we have to punish ourselves. Or we believe someone else did something wrong, so they deserve to be punished. And we start to project this through our belief system. When in essence, it's all divinity. It is all happening. We're all creating according to our own alignment. And really, there is never a need for punishment and suffering. It is optional. But many of us are suffering, and we are creating a system of punishment for ourselves and others because of old belief systems that are really, ready to be looked at, addressed, understood, forgiven, and released. So I'm gonna pause for a moment and see if there's anybody talking.
Everybody's just listening.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to say anything.
I feel that today. I'm getting that vibe. It's okay. All right. So
Seems. Never mind. Keep going.
what?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, if anybody does want to comment, bring it on in. I'm open. But if not, I got plenty to share today, so it's all good. This is a book I have not read in years, and I can't even recall when he wrote this. I want to say it was like 2000. Let me see if I can see it really quick. It's Neil Donald Walsh. Well, it's saying it was copywritten in 1998, so maybe it's even older than I thought. But it's Conversations with God. And what's interesting is I've read these books years ago. Like, I think I read them in like 2001, 2002. And the other day I was sitting on the couch, and I was just kind of sitting there relaxing. And all of a sudden I looked ahead into my hallway, and one of my bookshelves, these books were just kind of like, oh, like calling to me, which is interesting because one of the pages I opened up to was very much connected to belief systems about our judicial system and about justice and all of this from an aligned perspective. And on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, I actually am going to court to stand up and speak truth on the abuse that happened towards my son over a year ago. And so, any of you listening, if you want to be sending love waves and light to myself, my son, Hunter, and this whole situation with his dad, that rehabilitation and that healing, and there will be, a focal point of consequence, meaning that it will lead this person to healing and to soul reflection. That is what I'm calling forth, because we are going to go and stand in our power. But one of the pages was about that, which is really cool because I'm about to go deal with all this. But the other one that I opened to is from book 3, from Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. And if you haven't read this book or heard of it, it's basically Neil has a question and he will be talking and then he will type and then free write the consciousness coming in, which is his conversation with God, or AKA, I believe, his conversation with his highest self. And so this page is something that I feel is so significant to the topic today, which is focusing on a new earth and what each of us are here to do to create this new earth experience, how we are here to feel it into being, and we are here to visualize what that looks like and what it feels like, and vibrationally create and manifest a new earth from our focal point of where we're going, not our focal point of what's not working and our fear. We already know that part. Got it. So we're going to keep our focus and our wand waving over here towards the land of new earth and beauty and love and harmony and integrity and whatever that means for you. Because for some, a new earth might be hell and damnation and the world must end because they have belief systems that have been in place for so long that there needs to be some destruction in order for there to be something beautiful come. And there's sometimes, might be this manifested, like the planet may very well have destruction. There might be times where there's earthquakes and volcanoes. They're happening right now. I've been feeling it in my body. I've been feeling the hits of this. My guides have been telling me there's more solar flares, there's more gamma rays and things that my beloved and I were like researching on all of this. When my stomach's like washing machine, we start looking at what's going on with the sun. And sure enough, there's a lot of solar flares and magnetic energy, solar winds. And so when this stuff happens, there is often a result and a reactive experience from the sun that is activating the earth. And there are more volcanoes. And right now, we're in a very high alert for volcanoes and earthquakes because of what's going on with the sun. So it's all very connected. And so there will be times where there may be, natural disasters and events, but we also can call in that protection and we can call in for guidance on what to do about these things instead of thinking the world's going to end. We can tune into, what can I do to help? How may I assist? How may I serve in raising the vibrational frequency of the planet, in anchoring in more light and love for the planet, for humanity, in calling in shields of protection for different places that I intuitively feel are in danger. We can be active guides of this and assistants of this, or we can just be afraid and talk about the fear and the doom and gloom. So that's the old paradigm, the world's going to end belief system stuff. And then the new earth, this is the dialogue with Neil and his higher self. He's kind of talking about that. So let's see, I'm going to just start at the top of the page. He said, the most significant way in which you may consciously apply your new understanding is to be the cause of your experience, not at the effect of it. So this is you owning your vibrational frequency. You emit a signal. You're not going to be responding and reacting to others. You're going to be the cause of your own experience. And know that you do not have to create the opposite of who you are in your personal space or personal experience in order to know and experience who you really are, who you choose to be. So when we're these highly evolved beings, we know what darkness is. We know what that is. We don't need to keep talking about shadow and keep staying in shadow. If we have suppressed shadow that we're not dealing with, yes, let's look into that. Let's own it, figure out where it comes from, what we need to forgive about it, and what we need to release, let it go, come back to our light, come back to our divinity. But we don't need to keep having destruction to know what peace feels like. We don't need to have hate to know what love feels like. We did for a time, many of us come into this earth plane to experience the contrast and the polarity because we wanted to understand it. But we're at a place now, we understand it. So now the intention and the intelligence would be to focus on the wholeness in the alignment. And then we can have a distant memory of these experiences. We hold the memories and the love of life experiences, but we don't need to hold the traumas and the cellular memory in a negative, destructive way, like post-traumatic stress way, where we're suppressing emotion. We want to be able to feel and remember that experience with truth and wisdom, but we don't need it to like haunt us and cause us suffering. I hope that makes sense to everybody and that's clear. So we're really being shifted to come out of this place where we think we have to continue having this polarity, and we can actually find a middle way and a balance, and we can integrate all that we've learned, all that we know, all that we understand, and we can move in the middle way where we are basically, it's like being in the eye of a storm. We don't need to get caught up in a storm anymore. We don't need to be in chaos and drama to know that it's there. We can come back to our center and we can experience bliss and love and wholeness no matter what others are choosing. And this is something each of us has the opportunity to shift into. So at the bottom, he put, now know that there are three basic wisdoms that run through the entire dialogue. And this is his higher self, aka God, is saying to Neil, this entire dialogue, which is like 3 books that he's written, he's saying that there are 3 basic principles of wisdom, which I completely think are awesome, and I want to share those. So they are: 1, we are all one; 2, there's enough; 3, there's nothing that we have to do. So again, we are all one, there's enough, and there is nothing we have to do. So kind of process that. He wrote, if you decided that we were all one, you would cease treating each other the way that you do. And really think about that. If you knew you were all one, would you wish for hate and suffering for anybody? If you really understood you were one, think about that. If you decided that there's enough, you would share everything with everyone. So if you feel like you're stingy and scared there's not enough and you're trying to take your share and you're hiding and stowing, you're trampling on people to get your share, I feel like maybe there's some room for opportunity here to shift into remembering there's enough. So contemplate your awareness. Each of us listening, it's all about our own awareness on this. Do we feel that we're one? Do we live as if we're one? Because it's one thing to intellectually understand oneness and it's another to embody that. Do we believe there's enough? Do we live as if there's enough? If you decided that there's nothing we have to do, you would stop trying to use doingness to solve your problems, but rather move to and come from a state of being which would cause your experience of those problems to disappear. I'm going to read that one again. So if you decided that there's nothing we have to do, you would stop trying to use doingness to solve your problems. So like, those of you that are working extra hours this week and you're kissing your boss's butt because you're trying to like smooch up and get into a higher salary or whatever you're doing to be enough, or the ones that are maybe you're just like giving everything away for free because you want to prove you're enough, or you are, the mom that's like taking care of everybody in the neighborhood's kids because you got to prove that you're a good enough mom. Whatever way you're doing it, if you are trying to prove through your doingness that you need to solve your problems through that, then you're really not believing that you're enough, that there's nothing that you have to do. You're living as if you're not enough. And I would say that's like the ultimate deep wound of humanity is I'm not enough. And that's going on in many of us. And we have to shift that. We have to realize there's nothing we have to do. We are loved and we are supported for who we are, for just being here, just for being a breathing spiritual being in a human form, or being an animal or a tree or whatever it is. We are loved and supported just for that. We don't have to do anything. Now, it says, but rather move to and come from a state of being which would cause your experience of those problems to disappear. So that, in essence, is what I've talked about on the show many times, where we are in a state of beingness. When I go into meditation and I am in conscious creation mode and I am being with source, then that beingness will often ignite and inspire action that will come from my beingness. So my beingness will inspire divine aligned action. That's very different than I just don't know what to do, so I'm going to go do more. I'm going to go run and jump on the hamster wheel and spin, 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 and work more and frantically, fearfully, egoically create because I'm terrified that I need to do more. There's a very big difference in that. So doingness without presence and without beingness is going to be very empty, and it's going to be very exhausting, honestly. And beingness is where we're going to activate and align with our divine spirit, with our source, and it's going to inspire us into action. So it doesn't mean we won't take action. Like, beingness will create action at a certain point. We will want to take action, but it's different than just fearful, frantic doing. So I hope that's clear. Okay, so it says the conditions themselves will thus evaporate. This is perhaps the most important truth of all for you to understand at this stage in your evolution, and it is a good place to end this dialogue. Remember this always and make it your mantra. So if you want to jot this down or just watch this video later and remember this as your mantra, there is nothing I have to have, there is nothing I have to do, and there is nothing I have to be, except exactly what I am being right now. And so if you can really own that you just being fully present in your beingness right now is all that is ever called for. And you will intuitively and divinely know exactly how to take aligned action through that beingness, through that presence of being fully in the now. But when we're not fully in the now, we're not in our beingness, we will fearfully, frantically do a lot, and it will not really serve us. So kind of contemplate that. This does not mean that having and doing will be eliminated from your life. It means that what you experience yourself having or doing will spring from your being, not lead you to it. When you come from happiness, you do certain things because you are happy, as opposed to the old paradigm in which you did things that you hoped would make you happy. Can you see the difference in that? Like, how many of you listening are doing things right now because you think one day it'll make you happy? Be honest about that, because this is the path to freedom, is honesty. Like, really open yourself to see. And how many of you are coming from a place of happiness so that you're doing things because you're happy? So when I am coming from a place of happiness and joy, I will choose to take action in a direction because I'm happy and I'm like, yay, I'm inspired, let's go do that. But if I'm doing stuff because I hope to be happy, that's a very different vibration. And that is like, in essence, where I talk about trying to be or being, it's very different. I'm trying to be patient. God damn it, I'm trying. And I am patient. I am present. That is stepping in and being patience. So you're in it. You've owned it. You've embodied it. I am it. Or you're trying. And so kind of process that. When you come from wisdom, you will do certain things because you are wise, not because you are trying to get wisdom. So when you come from love, you will do things because you are love, not because you want to have love. So think of this like when I talk about the celebrities that are out seeking love from everyone, they want lots of attention, lots of fans, lots of love, lots of love. So in essence, are they coming from love? Are they being love? Or are they doing everything because they want to have love? Do you see the difference? And that could also apply just to like just any old, person, like somebody 15-year-old wanting love from somebody because she doesn't feel love at home, so she's trying to get love from the boyfriend and wants to have it make a baby because then maybe the baby will love her. This can really lead to a lot of suffering if the being is not coming from love to create. I feel like think of just that process of making a human life. If a soul loves themselves and they're coming from a state of love and they want to co-create a new life because of their love and they want to pass that love on, that's going to be a very different vibrational experience for that baby and for that mother and probably her partner as well than the contrasting situation of I want to have love, so I need to go get attention from this boy who maybe will love me, and I really want to get love from that boy. And then, oh, he got me pregnant, and now I really hope the baby will love me because I want love. And that child is going to have a very different experience than the child that was birthed from love. Does that make sense to everybody? Anybody commenting, Amnon?
No, but it makes sense to me.
Okay, thank you. As long as it makes sense to Amnon, I am happy. Okay, so the last part of this is everything changes and everything turns around when you come from being rather than seeking to be. So that's just like in essence trying to be and being. Anytime you're trying to be, you're like the way I've described it is like there's this vortex of light and it's just like picture a pillar of light and you step into the center stage of that light and I am is your affirmation. Whatever you want to put after that, be mindful because that is what you're doing. I am awesome. I am an amazing healer. I am patient. I am loving. I am terrible. I am shitty. I'm a terrible human. Like you have to be careful what you place after the I am because you're in the spotlight and you're going to own that. So there's the I am, that is the beingness. And then the counter, like the alternate to that is I am trying to be, or I'm seeking to be. So I'm seeking to be wise. I am trying to be wise, meaning you're not being wise, but you're really wishing you could be. Or I'm seeking to be patient. I'm seeking to be loved. I'm trying to be aligned. I'm trying to be a good human, meaning I'm going to keep doing stupid shit that doesn't really serve me, but I'm going to just keep saying I'm trying to be a good human, a good aligned human. The difference is you're just going to waste a lot of energy running around that spotlight. You're dancing around the circle of it. And the opposite is stepping in. The other opportunity is I can step in and I can be. I can embody in my beingness, my divinity, my light. I am an amazing healer. I am an intuitive being. I am galactically connected. I am supported. I am abundant. I am love. I am loved. That is power, and that is you stepping in and owning it. So that's the opportunity for all of us. And I would highly encourage that one. But by all means, you each are free sovereign beings, and you all have your own freedom of, your own free will to choose and create. And some of you maybe want to keep dancing around the circle a little bit longer before you have the courage and confidence and self-love to step into that spotlight. Okay. Where did I leave off on? You cannot do your way to being. So, and I think I love that. You cannot do your way to being. As a meditation teacher, I have really observed this a lot where people are trying to be good meditators and I don't know what to do, Tawnya. Like, how do I get my mind to turn off? I'm trying to be a good meditator and I suck at it. So in essence, they're doing their way to being, and it's not going to work. So when you're going into a state of meditation, it's the opposite of doing. You're really surrendering, you're releasing, you're letting go, you're allowing surrender. So I am allowing spirits to speak to me, and I'm just going to be quiet and just breathe and connect with my breath. That is, in essence, the swiftest path into your alignment. You're not trying to do anything. You're not doing stuff to get to your being. You are just being receptively connected to your own breath and life force, and opening the mind to be clear and to be open and receptive to any inflow of consciousness. Voila, nothing to do. Let's see. And yet, it is true that you will be doing wonderful things once you get there. So I'm going to finish that sentence because it kind of broke up. Whether you are trying to be happy, be wise, be love, or be God, you cannot get there by doing. And yet, it is true that you will be doing wonderful things once you get there. I love that. Here's the divine dichotomy. The way to get there is to be there. Just be where you choose to get. So when we come back to our point and our topic today of creating a new earth, the way to get to the new earth is to be there. So we're not going to create a new earth experience by being in a state of fear, by being in a state of tension, by being in a state of hatred and anger. We cannot call forth divinity and love and light and beauty and peace and bliss and harmony when we are being hateful. Impossible. So any of you, if there is any hatred in you, if there is any tension, resistance, anger, fear in you, acknowledge it, accept it, and love that part of you as you release the tendency to dwell there. It is an opportunity. We can dwell anywhere, but releasing our tendency to dwell in that state so that we shift our focal point to being in a higher vibrational reality. We're going to be in this reality in our vibration so that we feel this in our cells of our body. We feel this in our veins. What does it feel like to be rich? What does it feel like to be healthy? What does it feel like to be happy? Even if I feel crappy right now, don't focus on that. Focus in your energy and your mind on being blissfully happy, on being energized, on feeling awesome, on feeling amazingly strong, on feeling love. Feel that into being. So you're choosing to be that vibration, and that vibration held long enough creates that physical experience. So all of us that are ready for a new earth, all of us that are ready for a new shift in our reality, we need to be in the alignment of that before it's here. We can never have it come if we're complaining about that it's not here, and we can never have it show up if we're focused on what we don't like. We have to all remember this. It's very simple, but it's very powerful as we all co-create together. It's going to create an amazing shift. So again, that the ultimate dichotomy is the way to get there is to be there. Just be where you choose to get. It's that simple. And this is God talking, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe this guy, meaning Neil Donald Walsh, his higher self is pretty damn aligned and is pretty tuned in, because what he's saying here is the exact same stuff that I get when I'm tuning into my higher self. And what you will get if you tune into your higher self, because our higher self is all coming from the same source of consciousness, and it's all coming from love and truth and wisdom. And it wants nothing more than all of us to get this so that we can all create a beautiful holographic reality together. So the last part of this is there's nothing you have to do. You want to be happy? Be happy. You want to be wise? Be wise. You want to be love? Be love. This is who you are in any event. You are my beloveds. And then Neil put, oh, I just lost my breath. You have such a wondrous way of putting things. And then the last comment from God, aka Neil's higher self, is, it is the truth that is eloquent. Truth has elegance and startles the heart to its own reawakening. That is what these conversations with God have done. They have touched the heart of the human race and reawakened it. Now they lead you to a critical question, and this is all of your question. It is a question all of humanity must ask itself. Can and will you create a new cultural story? Can and will you devise a new first cultural myth upon which all other myths are based? So can we do this, humanity? Is the human race inherently good, or is the human race inherently evil? This is the crossroads to which you have come. The future of the human race depends on which way you go, which way you choose to focus, and which way you choose to be. If you and your society believe you are inherently good, you will make decisions and laws that are life-affirming and constructive for the whole. If you and your society believe that you are inherently evil, you will make decisions and laws that are life-denying and destructive and limiting. Laws that are life-affirming are laws that allow you to be, do, and have what you wish. Laws that are life-denying are laws that stop you from being, doing, and having what you wish. So think about this. This is going to challenge some of you in your belief systems. Laws that are affirming allow you to be, do, and have what you wish. And laws that are life-denying are laws that stop you from being, doing, and having what you wish. Think of a lot of our laws, a lot of our like dogmatic belief systems, our religious belief systems, our judicial belief systems, and the laws that we have laid out before us. A lot of them are limiting and, taking from us our free will and our rights. Isn't it time that we as a collective start to really question that? And isn't it time that we start to take that power back and focus on choosing only the laws that are defining and life affirming? I would say that'd be a great choice. So that's just my nudge, but something to think about. Those who believe in original sin and that our inherent nature of man is evil claim that God has created laws which stop you from being as you wish and doing as you wish, and promote human laws, an endless number of them, that seek to do the same. Those who believe in original blessing, so the original sin is like, we think a lot of a religious paradigm of, God thinks we're evil, and so we have to have all these laws and keep people in order, otherwise it'd be complete chaos and everyone would just do what they want to do. That would be amazing if everyone really felt they had the freedom to do what they really want to do, because we would not be doing things from fear and we wouldn't be enslaved. Those who believe in original blessing, this is a totally different new earth reality opportunity, and that the inherent nature of man and woman, I'm going to throw in there, but he just says man, is good, proclaim that God has created natural laws which allow you to do as you wish, and promote human laws that seek to do the same. What is your viewpoint of the human race? This is the question for all of you. What is your viewpoint of yourself? So if you feel that the human race needs to be punished and enslaved, you also do this to yourself. You cannot do it to the external world and not also be doing it to yourself. If you view that you yourself should have freedom to choose any moment that you need to choose differently, connected to your source alignment, then also wouldn't you know that that's what humanity deserves? So if we believe that I own this person and they should not choose what they need to choose, then I'm going to control them and enslave them. And we can even do things really fun and creative like marriage. Oh, I'm going to hook them like a fish and throw them in my boat and put a ring on them and own them. And now I should be able to say what they can choose to do. Well, do we really want that? Because if we do that for another, we do that to ourselves. So think about some of our laws and our viewpoints of liberation. And truly, a soul that is love and is in a space of being love will not want to enslave another soul, but will show great honor to that soul. So a lot of what we're creating from our laws is based on fear, and in fear, we're creating those experiences. But when we're in a state of love and we're being love, there's nothing negative we would create in that realm. So kind of contemplate that. The very last part is, what is your viewpoint of yourself? Left entirely to your own devices, do you see yourself as a being able to be trusted? And this is a question for each of you. Do you see yourselves as a being able to be trusted? If you don't trust yourself, then what needs to shift? Does the world around you need to shift? Or do you need to shift? Do you need to shift to a place where you trust yourself, where you can trust your own alignment, where you can be true to self? If you can't know that about yourself, then really, how can you know that about another? We have to be able to be in a place where we trust ourselves. In everything, how about others? How do you view them? Until they reveal themselves to you, one way or the other, what is your basic assumption? So, like, do we innately love each other and trust in each other? Or do we innately mistrust each other and think they're all out to get us and they're all up to something? This is another part of how we view ourselves and what we have to shift internally. Now, if people show you things that are out of alignment, this is something I'm going to say only because I've had so many empaths ask me this is, Tawnya, I love everybody so much and I want good for everybody and I don't want to judge people. And so I really struggle. And then I get attached to these people that are not to be trusted. And then I feel bad because I don't want to judge them. And here's the thing, it's not about judgment. There's a difference between judgment and discernment. When we are empathic beings feeling vibrational frequency, we know stuff right away. We meet that person and we know. We walk in that room and we know things. That is discernment. We have the ability, and it's important that we do access our gift of discernment always. Like, discerning energy is very important for you. Now, judgment is when you take what you're discerning, what you pick up on, and then you create some kind of story out of it that creates a hierarchy, or like, I am better than them, or they're better than me. You create some kind of value system, and that creates judgment. But when you just read information and you just know the energy and frequency of another, that is discernment, and that is important. So, any of you, if you've been struggling with that and you feel like, oh, I don't want to be a judgmental person, and so I'm really struggling to own my truth and know what I know, I encourage you to really contemplate the difference between discernment and judgment. And in a nutshell, we are at 4 minutes over. So is there any questions coming in before we sign off, Amnon?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I hope that was all helpful. If any of you are, curious about galactic guides and angels and you want to tune in more, I encourage you to go into meditation and stillness and just thank them for revealing truth to you. Thank them for helping you understand more. You have questions, you want to understand anything. I constantly go into meditation and ask for clarity and understanding on everything that comes up so that I understand it. And so if you want to be a master in this earth dimension and you want to understand this dimension more and you want to understand the universe more, it's a lot about just tuning inward and asking for that clarity and understanding and listening, becoming really great listeners. And if you want to become a master at manifestation and you know that you're here to be a way shower and an architect for the new earth, then I encourage you to really listen to what I said and maybe watch the show again and again and again until it really clicks inside of you and you understand that your beingness is vital. We need to be there before we get there. We need to be the frequency and the vibrational match to our desires so that they can come to us. So if we desire a new earth that's beautiful and high integrity and harmonious and loving, we have to be that in our own frequency. If we want to connect with guides like Syrians and angels, we may not be perfect and we may think, oh, I've got some human moments here. That's okay. But to set that intention to connect with them and to be the embodiment of love and wisdom and divinity, that's all that's needed. And the more you set your intention there, the more you will shift your frequency into embodying your own divinity instead of fearfully, frantically creating as a human that feels lost and alone and stranded on a planet. So I encourage all of you to really process that. I'm going to ask a request for all of you because I don't know how many are watching today, but it would be awesome if you all took a moment at the end of the show and you went to our YouTube channel under Tawnya Love and just followed us on there. And then also start sharing the videos. If you feel like there's videos that are helpful, like, man, that, the gift of pain, that video really helped me process pain. And I have friends and family that are struggling with that. Share the videos, please. Like, share them because this will help with our mission of expanding and getting the messages out there. I don't just say this because I like to hear myself talk. It is for the intention to help these messages reach humanity all across the globe. So I'm calling you forth as light workers and assistants of this mission to simply help by following on YouTube and sharing the videos and just telling people about the message, telling them about me if you feel like they could benefit from working with me as a healer, but spreading the messages and helping people. If you don't know how to explain something and you feel the videos are explaining well, please share the videos and help more people to see that, because that's why we're doing them, is to help humanity shift. And the more people that see these videos, the more swiftly we shift into the new earth reality. So that is my request for all of you. A heads up that we have our first twin flame union workshop coming up on December 27th from 11 to 2 p.m. Pacific. And if any of you are remote and you want to join us through that, you need to contact me as soon as possible. My email is tanyaangel@gmail.com. The website is up. I believe Amnon always has that up, tanyaangel555.com. And you can go on there and all my contact information is on there. So contact me. Send your PayPal payments if you want to reserve your spot to be involved in that. And if any of you can't join us for that day, but you'd love to have a workshop at your spiritual bookstore, or maybe you've got a library or a spiritual community center that you have events and you'd love to have a workshop like that, contact me so that we could get that going. So what else? There's one more thing. Oh, and then the last thing is I do have my angelic auric clearings on special just for one more week. And so if any of you have been on the fence about receiving a healing session, they're buy one, get one half off. And right now, the soul coaching sessions that I offer for $200 a session, those are $88 until Tuesday, and then that special ends. So anybody who would like to receive some help, some energy activations, and some soul coaching, which can powerfully shift your reality, contact me, and I would love to work with you if you're ready to do your work. So hope you guys all had a great show and that this was useful, beneficial information. And I hope that you all join me in holding your frequency of a new earth that is loving, blissful, harmonious, and abundant, because that is the new earth I'm here to experience. So I thank you guys for joining me, and thank you for going and following us on YouTube and sharing the videos. That would be such a blessing, and I'd be so grateful if you'd support us in that. So thank you guys, and